The change comes gradually, a shift so subtle it nearly escapes notice. Barbara, always vibrant in her choices, vivid reds and soft blues, abandons color for shadows. Her closet morphs into a sea of black, dresses, skirts, blouses, all mirroring the dark. The bottles of hair dye under the sink shift from golden blonde to deep brunette. I watch, puzzled, as my wife transforms before my eyes, her laughter growing less frequent, her smiles reserved for her phone screen. One evening, I return home earlier than usual. The house is quiet, the kind of silence that feels deliberate. The faint hum of music seeps from beneath our bedroom door, a slow, haunting melody that Barbara never liked before. My heart races as I press my ear against the wood, the lyrics whispering of dark love and eternal night. Pushing the door open, the scene unfolds like a nightmare. Barbara, her hair cascading in dark waves over her shoulders, lies entwined with a man whose appearance is as shocking as the act itself. He is all angles and shadows, his long black hair framing a face painted with stark, Gothic makeup. His lips, a stark black, whisper secrets into her ear. "Barbara?" My voice breaks the trance. She turns, her eyes wide with horror, not at being caught, but at being seen in this new, unbidden reality. The man, unfazed, merely adjusts his position, a smirk playing on his painted lips. "John, it's not," Barbara starts, but the words choke off as I step back, my mind racing. "Not what?" "This?" My gesture encompasses the betrayal, the room, their entwined bodies. "How long, Barbara?" She doesn't answer, her gaze flickering between me and her lover, who now stands, an amused observer to our marital collapse. Leaving them there, I storm out, the images searing into my memory. The following days are a blur of rage and disbelief. My wife's transformation, a costume for her lover's dark world. The decision to take revenge forms quietly, a resolve as dark as the new world Barbara has chosen. I begin methodically, ensuring that every aspect of her life unravels. Contacts, job opportunities, social standing, I pull at the thread subtly, devastatingly. Barbara tries to reach out, to explain, to apologize, but I am deaf to her pleas. The divorce papers are the final blow, delivered on a cold morning that mirrors my resolve. As I watch her sign her name, her hand trembling, I feel no satisfaction, only the hollow victory of a man who has lost everything to win a war he never wanted to fight. We part ways forever, two strangers linked only by a past that neither can return to. Days bleed into each other as I plot my next moves with calculated precision. The sense of betrayal fuels my actions, each step a march toward retribution. I delve into the digital world, Barbara's and her lover's sanctuary, where secrets hide behind bright screens and whispered texts. It's there that I find my next opportunity. Using skills honed over years in information security, I infiltrate their communications. The Gothic lover, whom I learn is named Damien, becomes a ghost under my surveillance. I track their meetings, their exchanges, each one a twist of the knife already lodged deep in my heart. One afternoon, the perfect moment arrives. Barbara is supposed to meet Damien at a trendy downtown cafe, a stark contrast to his usual shadowy haunts. I decide it's time for a direct approach, but confrontation that would shake them to their core. I arrive early, the cafe bustling with the lunchtime crowd. My heart pounds not from fear, but from a burning need for closure. I spot Barbara as she walks in, her eyes scanning for Damien. Her style is as dark as ever, her demeanor nervous. She doesn't see me, tucked away in a corner shrouded by my own cloak of anonymity. Minutes later, Damien enters, his appearance drawing curious looks. His eyes lock with Barbara's, a spark igniting between them. That's when I stand, my presence slicing through their reunion like a blade. "Barbara, Damien," I announce loudly, drawing the attention of the surrounding patrons. The cafe falls into a hush, the air thick with anticipation. Barbara's face drains of color, her eyes wide with shock. "John? What are you? Did you think you could hide from me forever?" I interrupt, stepping closer. My voice is steady, my gaze unwavering. Damien steps forward, a protective gesture, his demeanor defiant. "What do you want, John?" What do I want? I laugh, the sound bitter. I want you to understand what it feels like to have your world collapse. To know that the person you trusted most can betray you so completely. Barbara's lips tremble as she reaches out, a plea in her eyes. John, please, let's talk about this somewhere else. No, Barbara. Not this time. Not after everything. I turn to Damien. And you think you can just step into someone's life, tear it apart, and what? Just walk away? Damien's confidence wavers, the cafe's eyes on him now. It's not like that. We didn't mean. You didn't mean to fall in love? Or you didn't mean to get caught? I snap, cutting him off. My words are sharp, each one delivered with precision. The confrontation escalates, voices rising, the tension palpable. I lay bare their deceit, exposing the lies and the pain they caused. Patrons whisper, some shoot sympathetic glances my way, others shake their heads at the drama unfolding. Finally, I've said all I came to say. With a last look at Barbara, a mix of sorrow and disdain, I leave the cafe, the echo of my departure a tangible silence. I walk away, not victorious, but vindicated. They remain behind, their facade shattered, their secrecy exposed to the public gaze. As I step outside, the cool air hits me, a harsh reminder of the loneliness that awaits. But this chapter is far from over. The intrigue deepens, and the game of revenge has only just begun. After the public confrontation, the streets feel empty as I wander through them, the echoes of my footsteps matching the turmoil inside me. The sharp, crisp air does little to clear my mind, it's clouded with images of Barbara and Damien, their faces marked by the shock and shame of exposure. I know this is just the beginning. In the solitude of my home, my phone buzzes relentlessly. Barbara's name lights up the screen, her messages piling up, unread. She pleads for understanding, for a chance to explain, to mend what has been shattered. But the trust is beyond repair, and my heart too hardened by betrayal to entertain forgiveness. Days pass, and my resolve strengthens. I use my skills to dismantle Barbara's reputation subtly but systematically. A few anonymous tips to her workplace about dubious conduct, some hints at unethical behavior. Soon, her professional life begins to crumble. She calls again, desperation in her voice, but I remain unmoved, the receiver heavy in my hand. The next step takes me to Damien's world. I immerse myself in the Gothic subculture he belongs to, understanding its shadows and secrets. Armed with knowledge and anonymity, I craft messages that spread through his circle like a dark whisper, casting doubts about his loyalty and intentions. His image as an enigmatic figure starts to crack, rumors swirling around him like the very shadows he adores. One evening, I decide it's time to see the effects of my machinations. I head to a club known as their haunt, a place where the dim lights and loud music can't drown out the undercurrents of tension I've introduced. The atmosphere is charged as I step inside, the thumping bass a heartbeat driving the night. I spot Damien, isolated in a corner, his usual crowd conspicuously sparse around him. I approach, my presence unexpected and unwelcome. Enjoying your evening, Damien? I ask, my tone casual but piercing. He looks up, his eyes narrowing. What are you doing here, John? Just checking in on an old friend, I reply, scanning the dwindling group around him. Seems you're not too popular tonight. Damien stands, anger flashing in his eyes. What have you done? Me? I've done nothing but share some truths, I say, shrugging. Or perhaps it's just karma catching up with you. We are close enough to speak over the music, our conversation private amidst the chaos. You're destroying my life, he accuses, his voice a mix of fury and disbelief. You destroyed mine first, I retort sharply. Did you think there would be no consequences? Our exchange grows heated, attracting curious glances. Damien's frustration is palpable, his usual composure shattered by the escalating isolation his actions have wrought. As I leave the club, the cold night air feels like a balm. I know the battle is far from over, but tonight, I've seen the first signs of victory. Retribution is a slow poison, and I've administered it well. The intrigue of how far the fallout will spread keeps me moving forward, driven by a need for justice that burns brighter with every step. The weeks of scheming and sabotage have led to this moment. As the city cloaks itself in the twilight's shadow, I feel the culmination of my plans drawing near. Barbara and Damien, once united in deceit, now flounder amidst the ruins of their tarnished reputations and broken trusts. Tonight, I intend to end this charade once and for all. I wait outside the art gallery where Barbara now works, a job she managed to secure amidst her dwindling opportunities. The exhibition tonight is crucial for her, a chance to redeem herself in the eyes of her peers. Little does she know, I've orchestrated a final act that will strip away any remaining facade of her innocence. As guests begin to arrive, I spot Barbara greeting attendees with a strained smile. Damien is there too, lurking in the background, a shadow of his former self. I make my move, stepping into the light, ensuring they both see me. Barbara's smile falters as I approach, her eyes widening with apprehension. "John, what are you doing here?" she whispers, her voice barely audible over the murmur of the crowd. "I wouldn't miss this for the world," I reply, my tone laced with venom. I pull out my phone, showing her a live feed of her email account projected onto the wall behind her through a hidden projector. Emails, messages, all her communications with Damien, displayed for everyone to see. The crowd gasps, turning to whisper among themselves as the depth of her betrayal becomes painfully public. Barbara turns to me, horror-stricken. "How could you?" she breathes, her facade crumbling before her peers. "Quite easily, actually," I respond coldly. "You taught me how." Damien moves to intervene, but I am ready for him. With a swift motion, I reveal another screen, this one showing his financial transactions, shady dealings, and all the skeletons he'd hidden in his Gothic closet. He stops, stunned, realizing his downfall is not just personal, but professional. "This is madness, John!" Damien shouts, stepping toward me. His face is twisted with anger and betrayal. "No, this is revenge," I correct him, my voice rising. "This is what happens when you betray someone who trusted you, who loved you." Security starts to converge on us as the murmurs turn into chaos. Barbara and Damien look around, realizing they have no allies here, only spectators to their disgrace. "I hope it was worth it," I say, my final words to them cutting through the noise. "Goodbye, Barbara. Goodbye, Damien." I turn and walk out of the gallery, the cool air hitting my face. Behind me, I leave a trail of destruction, a fitting end to the deceit and betrayal that poisoned my life. As I disappear into the night, I know this is the end of our paths crossing. They are left to face the consequences of their actions, isolated and despised, much like I felt when I first discovered their betrayal. The satisfaction of revenge is bittersweet, for in achieving it, I have lost a part of myself too. But I walk away, knowing that justice, in its most ruthless form, has been served. The intrigue and deception are over, and with it, my involvement in their twisted world.